Let's create some display campaigns to drive more sales to your site or save a sale to drive more sales to your site or save a sale by bringing people back to your site. Timestamps below, along with some other helpful links and resources, including a link to our Google Ads playbook to make setting up your campaigns a breeze. So let's go ahead, dive into my screen here from your campaigns dashboard, whether you're in overview or looking at your campaigns. Go ahead and click the blue plus button like you've most likely done before, and we'll go ahead and click on New Campaign. We'll select Campaign Without Goals or Guidance because we always want control over all of our settings. And then we'll go ahead and click on Display. We'll leave our conversions alone for now. If you have specific conversions or you're doing anything advanced, just make sure that the conversions you want to optimize for are the only ones that are here. I'm going to optimize for signups, so I'll go ahead and remove the purchase goal. So we'll go ahead and click on Continue here and then give our campaign a name. And I'm going to name it something obnoxious, so I remember to actually turn this off. We'll go ahead and click on Continue. If you were working on any other campaigns in the past or a draft, those will show up here. I'm just going to go ahead and start new. And then under location options here, we need to select presence. And so presence or interest says, hey, anyone who's in your location or is just thinking about it, right? And unless we're a hotel or real estate, we don't want that. We want people in the locations that we're targeting. So once you've done that, we can come here to enter another location, click on Advanced Search, add locations in bulk, and then you can drop in the states, territories, or provinces you want to target, the individual zip codes or neighborhoods. I do not recommend using radius targeting. Here, I'm going to target all of the United States. So I'll jump over to our campaign builder, which you don't have to use, but link in the description if you want to learn more. And then I'll drop in all 50 states, and I will click on Search, and then I will click on Target All. And the reason that you want to do this, even if you're just targeting a local area, is because when you set all of these individual targetings up, when your campaign runs, you'll be able to see how each one of these are performing. If I had just typed in United States, I would have in my location report United States and all the clicks and conversions, right? So here, this allows us to be more detailed and we can take this information and actually optimize our campaigns in the future. So I'll go ahead and click on Save here. So we have all of our locations. Languages, most likely the default is going to be the good for you. Ad rotation, so here I'm going to tell them to rotate ads indefinitely. So when we create multiple ads, we want the traffic to be split so we actually know what ad is working. If you leave it at performing, best performing, you'll go in there and you'll find Google just chose one ad and gave all the traffic to that one. And then you're like, I don't know, why'd you do that, Google? And Google will not tell you. So for more settings here, ad schedule, of course, if you are a physical-based business or you need to pick up the phone, you probably want to make sure that you're only running ads when you're open or you can pick up the phone. Devices, I recommend leaving alone. This is something you're definitely going to want to optimize for. So link in the cards in the description to a deep dive guide on how to optimize your campaigns. And then for the start and end dates, we'll go ahead and make sure that we start it in a few days from recording. Obviously, I record these well before the video comes out. And then for the end date, let's just say I'm going to let it run for 2 weeks. I like setting an end date, especially when I have new campaigns, just in case I forget that they're running or I forget to turn them off, because Google has heard every excuse under the sun. They're still going to charge your credit card, even if you meant to turn off the campaign. So for the rest of these, you can go ahead and leave them alone. If you're really concerned about the type of content your ad shows up on, you can go ahead and click through these. Personally, I don't really care what my customers are looking at. They choose to go to the site or watch the video. So that's on them. And I just want to show up wherever they are. So we'll go ahead and click on Next here. We'll set our budget. So here's a quick little table of a daily budget and how much you could expect to spend over a month. So I'll go ahead and set it to $5 a day. And of course, you can go up and down based upon whatever you want to do. And we'll get to how you can actually spread out your budget depending upon what you decide to do with your display campaigns. And then we have what do we want to focus on. We'll leave it at conversions, even if you don't have conversion tracking set up yet. And then we can set bids manually or automatically maximize for conversions. So here's where this is really important. If you have conversion tracking on your site, then go ahead and set a cost per action and set it to 3 to 5 times whatever your average cost per conversion is. So in this particular example, I'm going to be driving traffic to this landing page. And I know from other campaigns, it costs us about $5 to get an email address. So in our campaign here, I'm going to set it to $15. And when you set this target CPA, you'll see you can target be paid for interactions or pay. Now, Google will be paid for it. You will be doing the paying. You can pay for interactions or you can pay for conversions. So if you can't click conversions, it just means that you don't have enough conversions in your account for Google to actually use this type of bidding. And so while you can pay for interactions, I don't recommend doing this. So if you get to this point and you're like, I can't click on conversions, then what you need to do is come all the way back up here, set bids manually, and enter a manual cost per click. So I'm going to do $1.50, which is a lot for display. But the reason you need to do this is you simply don't have enough conversions yet for Google to optimize for those conversions. Yes, you can pay for interactions. There's always that one person in the comment, well, you can pay for interactions and it's just gonna be as good. No, it's not. So we're going to go ahead and uncheck Enhanced CPC as well to make sure that we only pay per click. Again, you only go this route if you got to the other option and you couldn't select conversions. So we'll go ahead and click on Next. So jumping into our diagram here, at the very top we have the campaign level, and that's what we just completed. We completed all of the campaign settings, and now it's time to talk about the ad groups and who we're actually going to show our ads to. So this is where we tell Google the actual people our ads are going to show up to. So think of this as like level 2 of your campaign setup. So here we can click on Ad Targeting, and you have all of these options. Now, this is a quick diagram. You can always pause on all of the different types and what they are good for and what they're not good for. In this particular instance, we're going to focus on in-market because we want to 80-20 this process. And of course, you can always create more campaigns in the future trying other targeting options. So jumping back into our interface here, you can see we have audience segments, demographics, and keywords. So we're going to start with audience segments here. And when you click on Browse, you'll see you have some options. Go ahead and start with in-market. Now, if you have people coming to your site already from other types of campaigns and you want to bring them back so they actually complete a purchase, then what you can do is select how they interacted with your business, select website visitors, and then you can target people who have gone to a specific page or just visited your site overall. And so this is where you can use your custom audience lists and get really specific with who you're targeting. I really like display campaigns for remarketing. It's really powerful. But let's say we're just trying to get buyers right now. We don't have enough traffic coming to our site to remarket to them. So what we can do is click on In-Market and Life Events. So life events here, they are pretty limited, but if there's one that's really related to your particular offer, then awesome. Otherwise, the rest of us are gonna go with in-market segments. And so what's awesome about these is these are lists of people who are actively looking to purchase something. There are a lot of custom things you can do inside of Google Ads, but this is something that really helps you get started quickly because Google's done all the hard work of going to find people based upon audience behavior and figuring out, hey, based upon what these people have been doing, they're probably looking to buy this product or service. So for me, I am a marketing agency, and so what I'm going to do is come into Business Services and then click on Advertising and Marketing. Now, here's where we differ in terms of an agency versus a lot of what other people do. When it comes to your ad groups, you only want to have one targeting option inside of your ad group. This allows you to really focus and optimize for each one of your audiences. So jumping back into our diagram here, you see we'll have multiple ad groups, and each one of these ad groups will have one in-market or life event. Yes, you can combine them, you can get fancy later, but for now, just go through this list of all of these different in-market events or life events and choose 3. The top 3 that you think are really relevant, and then after a couple of days or weeks, you can go ahead and start trying other things. Google Ads is a lot about testing. So here you can see we have 1 to 5 billion impressions. That's a lot of people. So we'll go ahead and leave it at this one targeting option. And then optimize targeting, I recommend turning this off. So this is where Google is going to try and do its black box machine learning algorithm thing and find better people for you. But at this point and stage in the game, we need to understand which audience works without Google working their, black box magic yet. So we're going to leave this unchecked. Once you have an audience that's working really well, you can try an ad group where you do check this and your results should improve, but you only want to do that when you already know that the audience actually works for you. So we'll go ahead and click on next here. And so jumping back over to our diagram, we've completed creating the ad group. And so now we're at the ad level. This is the creative, and this is probably going to take you twice as long as everything you've just done so far because you have to make images. So here is a breakdown of the 2 image dimensions you can use. You can have images that are larger and Google Ads will allow you to crop them. And then the last one here that's X'd out, those are only for discovery ads. So focus on these first 2 ad formats. So jumping back into creating our ad, the first thing we need is the URL. So I'll jump over to a landing page here, grab that URL and drop it in. I also recommend set up a separate landing page specifically for your ads. So I have a landing page like this that I link to in organic YouTube videos. And then I have this page that I link to in ads. So it's really easy for me to see the differences in traffic sources. And so then we have our business name. I'm just gonna name it after me. And then for our images, I'll go ahead and click on add. You can see we have a lot in here. And so I'm going to filter by name, and then CFP is the one we're going to be doing. And go ahead and when you're creating images for a specific offer or ad, go ahead and just put some sort of code so you can easily search, right? Because the the asset library is a work in progress, so there's no folders or organization, so it can get really messy really fast. So here I'm just going to click on all of the ads that I want to use for this one. And you see I'm skipping this dimension because this dimension is only for discovery. Link in the cards and the description to a deep dive guide on how to do discovery. So it's a very similar process. There's just a couple of placements that are a little different. And so that's all I'm going to select here. I'll go ahead and click on save. Then for our logos, it's already queued it up, but you could go ahead and add more logos if you want. And then you can also add video. I personally have not experimented with video yet. Right now I'm just letting Google do their own thing with their animations. So now we have our headlines. So I'll jump over to our document here and I'll start copying and pasting our headlines over. And you can have up to 5 headlines that are 30 characters or less. With your headlines, you don't want to overthink it too much. Just make it really clear and focused on what the offer is and then the big result or benefit someone gets from consuming the offer or getting the offer. In this particular instance, we are offering a free set of free template. Oh my gosh. We are offering a set of web pages that someone can use in a free software to create their own sales funnel. And so here we're just talking about funnels and talking about how these funnels are going to help whoever decides to get them for free to actually get more conversions on their site. And so this is just a preview of what these will look like for your display campaign. So you'll go ahead and also you have a long headline here, and this is up to 90 characters. So I went ahead and pasted that in. And then we have some description. So I'll go ahead and copy those over now. And when it comes to your descriptions, of course, you're limited to 90 characters. You can have up to 5. And just think of it as a little elevator pitch for whatever you are offering. And so, of course, you can pause to see what we decided to write for these, but they're not going to have much of a huge impact on the performance of your ads. Really, the biggest factor in terms of what do I test to make sure that my ads start to improve is going to be your images, right? Because the image is going to be the thing that really grabs people's attention wherever they're seeing the ad across the web sphere, right? And so we've got our URL, our business name, we have a couple of images, and of course, you can use the timestamps below to go back to the dimensions. And then we have a logo, some headlines, one long headline, and then a description. And then you have some additional format options here. I would recommend leaving all of these checked. Just let Google do what they want to do with responsive ads and focus on testing your images and then your headlines. But again, your images are going to make the biggest difference. And the images you're seeing here, I just made inside of Canva. So you don't have to be a super crazy graphic designer. And let's be real, these could be a lot better than they actually look. So let's go ahead and scroll down here and we can go ahead and click on next. So we've created our ad. So coming back to our diagram, we've created created our campaign, we've created one ad group, and we've created one ad. So ideally, you're going to create another 2 to 3 ads, so you have a couple to rotate through. But at this point, our campaign is ready to go. So we can go ahead and click on Publish Campaign. And just like that, our display campaign is all set up, it's scheduled, ready to go. And so now what we want to do is create at least 2 more ad groups and then copy our ad over. So for time purposes, I'll just do one more and I'll go a lot faster. So we are inside of our demo. I don't know why the name got messed up there. And then we'll go and click on the blue plus button, 150 for our cost per click. Then add targeting here, audience segments. So we're doing the exact same thing we did before in market or in life events. So in market segments. And then this time, instead of going to advertising and marketing services, I'm going to select the really detailed one, SEO and SEM. So once you have one targeting option in this column, that's it for the ad group. So we'll come down to optimize targeting and we will turn that off because we really want to understand how this specific audience works before Google starts messing with it. And then, of course, it's going to ask us to create another ad. But do not do that. That's going to be a waste of time. So we can click on Change here and copy existing ads. So it'll automatically pull up our other ad group here. And when I click on it, this is the ad that we set up earlier for our first ad group. So this is the one that we're going to use. I'll go ahead and select it and create the ad. So now I have my one ad here. And then we can go ahead and click on Create Ad Group. And so now that we've done, we have ad group 1 and 2. You definitely want to go back and rename these. So ad group 2 would be in market SEO and SEM. And then ad group number 1 would be in market ad services. That way it's really easy to come in here and see how these different audiences are performing against each other. And of course, the only other step is creating at least 1 to 2 more ads with some different headlines or different images just to see how they perform. So thank you so much for watching. Sincerely hope you have a lot more confidence when it comes to setting up your display campaigns. Comment below with any of your questions. The Google Ads interface, as of the recording of this video, is going through some major changes. So it is possible that even if you're watching this in a week, they've changed it. It's getting really annoying having to redo these tutorials every 2 months. But hopefully this is close enough to whatever your interface looks like where you're able to get things all set up. So hit that like button. Check out the link in the description to our Google Ads playbook to make setting up your campaigns a breeze. And until the next, keep building the business you love.